with Years of Years, and it's This Week in Disney for May 30th to June 5th. And
roll it out.
Yeah, we're excited for the week, and had a fantastic week last week.
And if you want to hear about our week, you can check it out in the podcast.
Right.
You'll hear all of this again, but you'll get our weekly update of what we've been up to. Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewinding, but...
Right. Yes, go check it out wherever you can listen to the podcast.
Yeah. But lay down the dates.
This week, May 30th, we're going back to 1928 with Disney's Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
My boy.
Right. So this was a black and white short. It's called Ozzie of the Mounted.
There you go.
So it actually is
it like all Canadian?
a Royal
like
Canadian
there you
Mounted
go.
Police.
I could tell. I can see it in my mind.
They're in pursuit of Peg Leg Pete. This is really cool. I really thought this was fun because it was just unexpected that they did, you know, a Canadian Mounted Police one.
Yeah.
Really fun. It has
Crazy
all the
Canuck.
things you'd expect, of course, like the snowy season and horses.
There you go.
Oswald's horse. Very interesting. You're gonna have to watch it to see his horse. And then also, I thought it was interesting that
I would take an Oswald in the Canadian Pavilion. You thought what was interesting?
Well, no, just the animation style. If you haven't seen an Oswald cartoon, you should definitely check this one out. Or check them out.
I wouldn't call them raw, they're textured.
Yeah, they're raw.
They're textured.
For sure. But it was a different time period, and it's like the beginnings of what this company's become, and so, meaning Disney. And so it's definitely worth checking out. This
Still waiting for that Disney Plus Oswald. I know it's coming. They threw up the logo like 2 years before the Disney Plus launch.
So, yeah. So this was actually released through Universal Pictures.
Very nice.
Yeah, so all that business back then, which was crazy. And I was just thinking,
but back home, Oswald back home.
Well, we're going to talk some more about this later, but just all that Walt Disney went through to get, you know, from where his beginnings, he just never gave up, and he had some hard blows. You know,
resilient.
Laugh-O-Grams, like that studio not working, then coming out to Los Angeles with like nothing. I mean, he was definitely like,
he knew, well, he thought
not
he
even
had
able
to
afford food at certain points. So he definitely worked from nothing up. And
as all babies do.
Well, what? I don't even know what that means. But like,
meaning every one of us.
I don't know if that always works that way.
Right.
Sometimes it's like, people say nowadays with Hollywood and all that stuff, it's like who you know. And like, you have to have connections and things like that. But
when an industry is being birthed,
yeah, he didn't have that. They didn't have that, him and his brother and so forth. And they, you know, did so well.
Well,
yeah.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Disney.
Yeah, but moving on to 1939, the New York World's Fair, Building of the World of Tomorrow, opens in Flushing Meadows. Of course, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be the same place in 1964, 65. But this is 1939, and so maybe you didn't know, but Disney did have a presence there.
Right.
There was, Disney was represented by a specially commissioned Mickey cartoon, Mickey's Surprise Party. So it was developed and donated to the Nabisco Pavilion. So I think this is one of the only Mickey cartoons where you have Mickey
an endorsement too?
An endorsement at the end with so Minnie is trying to make treats for Mickey, and
that doesn't always go well.
It never goes well.
Right. It's interesting.
I mean, it wouldn't
or Nabisco.
Well, no, it works out.
Oh, because they have the Nabisco to back it up.
At the end, Mickey goes and gets Nabisco because he makes this reference to his mom and how she would kind of have issues with cooking like Minnie. So I guess
Walt
Minnie
says that.
And Mickey's mom. No, Walt.
Mickey.
We're talking about Mickey Mouse. Anyway,
I'm back on track.
You're back on track.
Keep it going.
And so they, something happened. It's really funny because the popcorn kernels get into the batter.
Okay.
And so
Crunchy.
Antics, they pop,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
So
in the stove.
Yeah, so I think,
I gotta watch
not
this.
the stove. You're gonna.
But who could possibly
You guys
have known?
gotta watch it.
This
Mickey's
is a surprise. Mickey's
Yeah.
surprise.
And so at the end, there's
Well-titled.
the Nabisco
Well-titled.
treats. Mickey goes and buys those, and then he even talks about which one
Right.
his favorite. And it is voiced by Walt Disney,
Yeah.
so if that's what you were
Keebler Elves
inferring.
who? Nabisco has Mickey Mouse. Let's do it.
Well, at least in 1939.
That's right.
I thought this was really, I like this time period, this animation, and I've said this before, that when they animate food from this time period, it just always looks really good, but some of the food's spoiled, so you're just gonna have to check it out. Yeah, it's an interesting situation, but just thinking, you always have to think of this situation because Walt was there in 1939, working with this whole World's Fair, and then to think 1964, that, do the math, that time period, and knowing that he's gonna, planning for that, probably in the back of his mind, he had so many irons in the fire all the time, and so he's thinking how they're gonna be, and because the presence in 1964-65 is huge, obviously, not just one of their featured shorts. So.
And his father had worked, or his grandfather had worked previously in the construction of a World's Fair. There's a wonderful legacy,
kind of
just
sad
a
we don't
spirit that
do
moves
these
through
World's
it.
Fairs anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we
I think
do
the
in
Olympics
different
replaced
ways. No, I mean they had Olympics then too.
Not at the scale. You'd be surprised.
But the World's Fair is an opportunity to present new technologies and new things, and it brings together all these. I don't know. I just don't know if we have a forum for that in the same way. But But anyway,
we got the internet.
Okay.
No borders.
Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna move on to May 31st. Okay, 1898. Where's the birth? Hazel Mae Sewell Bounds. She is actually the first head of Disney Studios, and she's born May 31st, like I said, 1898.
Yeah.
She is Lillian Bounds' sister, and so of course she is born in Spalding, Idaho, and because that's where their big family of, was it 10 or 11 kids, I think.
In a
that's
little
where they're
house
all
on the
from.
prairie.
I don't know. But anyway, so she's amazing because she was Disney Studios' first ink and paint, head of ink and paint. Yeah. So Lillian actually started working for Disney first, and then Hazel came after her, very shortly, because she was already over there at the studios a lot.
She wanted to oversee production and oversee the relationship with her dear sister. So she moved in and took over.
Yeah. So so later, as head of ink and paint, she worked on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is incredible, of course.
Whistling while she worked.
Many of the, shorts and cartoons she worked on that you would, that we've talked about many times. She worked at the company for 11 years, and she ended up marrying Bill Cottrell. So even after she left, she was still connected, and when the El Grupo group or whatever went to South America, she was with them. Right. Of course, I mean, it's her sister, so.
And don't underestimate 11 years. What 11 years means.
Yeah, that's still
it's a big
really
contribution, especially the projects. I mean, there can be a feeling of that you accomplished all that you want to accomplish as an artist, and as a director.
Yeah, but it's incredible, and again, first female, she really was the first female art in that sort of position in animation, directing like that.
It was Walt.
So
yeah.
Well, and like I always say, just from what looking at history, as you guys have been following along, we've been talking about this for a couple of years now, and even looking into it before then, it really seems like Walt didn't have a preference on,
of course,
on what
talent.
You were. Ability. It was more about like, yes, what you could do and what you could accomplish. It didn't really matter what
ethic, work
if
ethic.
You were a girl or a guy or.
I mean, let's face it. People performed around himself as well.
He just brought the best out of people. I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
But moving on to 2001, Animal Kingdom's thrill ride.
Get wild.
Countdown to Extinction changes its name to Dinosaur.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay, so this coincided
because
of the movie. Right. So they named it Dinosaur. Yeah. Countdown to it, I think it's probably better that it's named Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Personally, it just kind of. Yeah. But I mean, Countdown to Extinction did tie in with the
whole
primeval
dino
world,
right? And you had the dino
everything going on. I mean, because the land had a theme and
right, and there's a whole narrative with the shop and
but now primeval world is extinct, which is strange, and so I don't know. Theming wise, I mean,
we loved primeval world.
I haven't been around a cast member over there that's been in theming so much.
When the area is gone, I'll talk about the area. But I have always enjoyed.
I think the whole area is gonna. We'll see what happens.
I
mean,
my prediction
has to happen.
My prediction is Indiana Jones or Wakanda. It's one or the other.
What about Dungeons and Dragons?
I know we do, well because the dragon exists in You want to make a move for Hasbro? Pardon me, like that.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, moving on to 2009, same day. We're still on May 31st. The first phase of Kidani Village, the second timeshare extension of Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, formally opens. And
Savannah Views.
The name comes from the Swahili word for necklace. And
it does.
Yeah.
And you know what?
This is something we found out about.
But
when we were
perfect
staying
timing.
There.
No, you found out about it the week before, and you had done a segment on it, and then we stayed there, and it changed our whole experience. There's jewelry everywhere.
Yeah,
there's jewelry everywhere.
Right, you just don't even realize it. Yeah, but that's part of the theming of.
Yeah, it was one of our first reopening resorts too. I think it was our second one. It will always be special, and our home. For DVC.
We love it.
We love Animal Kingdom.
And Jumbo House. Jumbo House just a little more busy.
Yeah, best lobby probably. Not just short of the Grand Flow, but depending on your taste.
Christmas tree is amazing if you never, and you can go visit the Christmas trees during the
Wilderness
holidays.
Lobby's so great too, though.
I know.
They're all queens.
They do really, really well. So at this time, Animal Kingdom Lodge was just Animal Kingdom Lodge, and so they actually renamed it Jumbo House, over there, and then this is Kidani.
For the distinction. Yeah. And I like it.
And Jumbo House was the first, the first DVC after that we stayed at, remember? Miles was still really little.
We didn't have a firm grasp of the size and scope of resorts, and he disappeared on us to the side pool, and that was the first time I ever, I haven't lost since, but scary.
That's the thing with coming to Disney is, I mean, we're really used to our surroundings. It doesn't feel so foreign, but I think when you come, it is really stressful. And I think, as adults, we talk about theming all the time, but I think it's, people get lost in the theming as well. A lot of people get lost at Animal Kingdom.
Some people do better on a cruise ship where you just walk the halls.
Because it's Animal Kingdom is a big circle, right? Well, but a lot of people don't realize that, and they're trying to go to Africa and they head to Asia, literally. I hear them all the time, and I'm it's hard. There's just not a lot of visual ways to find your way around. People get lost at that park a lot, but it's okay.
I was actually talking about the resort, but
I know you are.
Yeah. Okay.
I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're taking it back to the... Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Captain. Keep us on track.
New day.
Next,
June
please.
1st. 1924. This is an Alice comedy. So we're talking about Oswald. Now we're talking about Alice. Alice's Fishy story.
All ink and paint around here.
A lot of these Alice comedies, you know, are live action and cartoon. And this one is big, like a huge amount of it is live action. So go check it out because there's a lot more kids involved than Alice in this one. There's her gang and she's supposed to be playing the piano, but she gets her dog to play the piano, which I think is incredible. How she trained her dog to do that. And then she leaves with the gang to go fishing. And while she's fishing, she tells her story about saving the Eskimos.
Very cool. Very cool.
Her own fishing story.
Very cool. What I want to talk about is this like live action with animation as a Disney tradition is not over. Rescue Rangers, like Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers is out on Disney Plus, and it's excellent execution of it. I was watching it and I said, okay, Miles, you know what this means? I was like, Roger Rabbit is coming. And then 3 scenes later, there was a cameo of Roger in the background. Like, so this tradition of like live action with animation, part of Disney.
I didn't see the Rescue Rangers yet. I want to, but
it's good.
So like,
it's really
Chip and Dale, they're like 2 different. One's 3D and one's
no. They're all in the style of the cartoon, living in the world, the real world.
Like, isn't Chip or Dale like one is cartoon, but the other one is 3D animated.
I'm gonna have to take
we'll have to talk about
closer look.
Yeah, no, they're different.
Right. Okay.
Chip is one, Dale is the other.
All right.
Okay, you guys check it out. Tell us in the comments if you guys have watched it yet. But Brad's right, and I think like animation and a live action is just going to continue. And they've obviously been doing this since 1924, so that's pretty cool. And then moving on to 1958, an article. This is like an article published by Radio and TV News called Electronics at Disneyland appears.
Black and white and red all over.
So this article describes electronic equipment used, obviously, at Disneyland for special audio and video effects. And readers are informed, actually, that it takes a combined efforts of 7 sound maintenance men employed by Walt Company, plus a projection repairman to keep all the electronic equipment in proper working condition. And the cover of the article, or the whatever, has the Mark Twain riverboat on it.
There you go.
You can actually find this if you look it up on Google. It's really, I think it's really interesting. You know, I think a lot of people were fascinated with the technology that was happening with Disneyland, and it was, you know, obviously pioneering things that are done today in all the parks all over the world.
I enjoy seeing it in action today. I would be interested to know, you know, how many are on hand at any given time for any given attraction. But I love it whenever you like see them kind of like moving and running through doors, and like, you know, they got their tools in their hands, and you know they're like making quick repairs and stuff. Every once in a while you get to catch one, and it's kind of special. It's like seeing the moving parts of a clock. It's funny when you say that, because I don't remember seeing any of them at Disney. Because I don't know. I think they're really, really. I know you're right. I think I've seen it one time, but the ones that I specifically. But that's many trips. The specifically time I remember is when we went to ride Velocicoaster. I saw maintenance guys. You're talking Universal? Yeah, and they were coming out with bags with pipes and stuff in it, and I was like, oh man. The ride's really broken. We're not gonna make it. Right. So it kind of freaked me out when I saw so many. Like, usually I don't notice them, and I know it happens. But, it happens at Universal. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I remember, because I was very nervous about that ride. Yeah, for sure. It's pretty intense. But yeah. Not at Disney. There's so much behind all of like the technology going on these days. I can't even imagine, because they, you know, obviously I quoted it, they talked about,
you know, the amount of people. I'm sure now it's like hundreds, if not thousands of technical people behind making sure everything's working properly.
Who knows all the adjustments? Like,
yeah. I mean, just the idea of things constantly running like they are.
And, you know, they continue to work during closings. Like, they continue to, like, work on rides and stuff. I mean, whenever we weren't all, like, I'm just talking when we weren't. So, I mean, things continued. Very cool.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's so much more to it than when they wrote this article in 1958.
Oh, sure.
But moving on to 1982, Disney World's monorail line is extended from Ticket and Transportation Center to the yet-to-be EPCOT Center. So I thought this was really, really interesting because back then people must have just been like, you know, we're getting closer to this park opening, that they have the monorail going there. And you know, I love the way that they did this line. I love that you get to wrap around, you know, Spaceship Earth and see so much of you know, the futurism of EPCOT and everything. It's so cool.
Yeah, and we really, I mean, I know I just talked about closings, and that's probably going to happen, like, quite often. Like, I mean, it just is the nature of things, but we really got to feel what it was like not to have that monorail line and to miss it, you know, and they didn't have it, and it reopened, like, after a good long time, and we missed that view. And I want to say that Connections, the new, like, cafe and bakery in EPCOT, when you're on the bakery side, like
the
having
Starbucks side,
on the eatery, the eatery side. When you're on the eatery side, there's a full glass panel, like, of windows that show the monorail coming into EPCOT, and I think it might be like the top 10, top 8 views in Disney World right now is in one of them is in the Connections eatery of the monorail.
Oh, very nice. I bet it's pretty at night. We haven't eaten there.
That's so true.
Nighttime.
Reflections might be pretty hard inside, but we'll see.
So moving on to June 2nd, 2011, Disneyland Resort celebrates the opening of the Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure. So they had a special ceremony at Disney's California Adventure, and they had Jodie Benson, so she's the voice of Ariel, but they also had Pat Carroll, who's the voice of Ursula, and they were the first two that got to ride the ride.
Really?
So I thought that was really cute.
That's so cool.
Really fun. So it was a cool, clever opening concept.
And it is.
It opened on June, or to guests on June 3rd.
It's pretty much an exact clone of our new Fantasyland version, right?
Yes. So the one at Fantasyland opened like a year later, a little over in October. So a year and a few months after. Yeah.
Always.
But it's very, very similar. It's almost the same. Yeah, but I thought that was really neat and sweet.
Oh, the hair's different.
Oh, yeah.
Our hair is different at Disney World, and at the one at Disneyland has more of like a Kate McPherson, like B-52's look, and the little...
I think it's supposed to be like her hair's floating up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but it has that feel.
It's really cute. Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
I like both. Yeah. I mean, I'm used to her hair down. Yeah. And I'm sure, like, I know that animatronics, those animatronics are so well done, but I know that they have issues with them every once in a while. There's a couple of times, so I think they're more difficult. So maybe that's why they didn't do the hair when they moved it down.
Who knows?
Or did it in Florida. I don't know.
Very cool, though. It's very cool. And it ties the next, the saxophone player has the same hairdo as Ariel in the Disneyland one, so that's kind of cool.
So moving on to June 5th, 1930, Disney's Silly Symphony cartoon Arctic Antics is released. So I thought we'd go along. We talked about the Canadian cold mounted police, and then also in Alice's fishing story, she talks about
O Canada, I believe.
Yeah, polar.
They come out on a snowy field.
So just the cartoons we already talked about.
Yeah.
So this is another cold cartoon, Silly Symphony, that you can check out
In June.
with polar
Was
bears,
everything late to production?
including a cub who looks like an albino Mickey. So now you got to go watch it and
Whoa.
check that out.
Which I think has appeared in contemporary Mickey.
Yeah, so they're all dancing and cavorting in the midnight sun, which I always think is fascinating.
I love that
About
concept.
you know, the Arctic and
Okay.
the, you know, the
Yeah.
midnight. They don't. I think they have the sun, you know, all day and all night, and it's joined by
For months at a
walruses,
time.
seals, and penguins. So you can check out that animation
go.
style. This is 1930. So like there's a pretty big range of cartoons to check out this week, and look at the progression there.
Not a movie about Eggman, a movie about walruses. Go check it out.
Yes. And I know it's a little bit cartoon happy this week, but moving on to 2000 on June 5th, the 3.5-minute Disney Pixar short For the Birds is released at the Annecy Film Festival in France. Yeah, this
You
is
gotta
a really
feed 'em?
cool. So the Pixar shorts are amazing. There's so many of them on Disney Plus. This is on
Is
Disney
this the one
Plus.
with the wire and the
Yes.
weight and
Yeah.
the... Oh, it's perfect.
You have to check out this, and it's more of the you know, concept of how we look at each other, you know, and make opinions and judgments and stuff, and how the shoe could be on both feet.
Right. Or
you
on
should
your
just
beak.
Maybe be nice. But yeah, check out this cartoon if you haven't seen it,
Always
and tell
point at
us
yourself.
in the comments what's your favorite Disney Pixar short. We'd love to hear like which one you like the most. I think there's so many of them. Some of them are really emotional. They're artistically well done. Really, really, you can watch them again and again. They're so cool.
And learn.
Yeah, for sure. But that is This Week in Disney. That's it this week. And thank you guys for following along and back with us. I know we've done some in-park things, but now, you know, we'll have this week like we did before, and then our podcast as well if you want to go listen to that.
Please go check it out.
Definitely check it out.
On Apple and Spotify.
Years of Years, and then on Instagram we're Years of Years, and over here on YouTube too. We're so grateful for your guys' support and you know liking and subscribing. We always appreciate that. Thank you so much. But that's it for this week, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.